Hello everyone and welcome to another How Lucy's review. Today I'm reviewing a game from GameRight called Marshmallow Test and designed by Rainer Knizia. And this is a trick-taking card game for 2 to 5 players and takes about 20 minutes or so to play, ages 10 and up. And as far as component quality, everything's really great. You got basically in this box here, great artwork, simplistic artwork that I think just works really well. You got a bunch of marshmallows here on the side. Cards fit in there, and all your marshmallow point markers or tokens fit in that section there as well. But yeah, so what you get in there, you have the box, you have the instructions. The instructions are really good, very simple to understand and play. There's a couple illustrations or examples there about that. But you have a deck of cards, and there are 5 colors, and 1 through 12 in the 5 different colors. And like I said, the cards, the art here is just a bunch of marshmallows, but the graphic design of them I think work really well. The colors pop, and you have the number of marshmallows on the cards, so I think it works just really well. It's a very clean, nice looking game. Good looking cards there. Here's the back of the cards. The cards do feel maybe a little bit thinner than some of the other cards, but there's a little bit of the linen finish to those as well. They just feel slightly thinner, I feel like, than some of the other cards, but they are still good quality. They're not like they're terrible cards. I just feel like I've been playing some other games and they must be a little bit thicker or just a step up, but I think they will hold up well. So there's that. And then the game comes with these really cool just marshmallow shaped point tokens. So you have big marshmallows, which count as 5 points, and little marshmallows, which count as 1 point. They're basically, you probably can't really tell from that, but they're soft, right? So they're almost like the little disposable use earplugs. They're a little bit more firm than that, right? So if I can, they have some give to them, but not as much give as say like the earplugs. So they'll hold their shape, but they're give you that kind of marshmallow feel, which is really cool, but they're still fairly solid and hold their shape pretty well. So that's really cool. And the game is very, very simple. You're going to shuffle these cards up, and you're going to deal 12 cards to each player. And then at that point, the first round is slightly different. There's no trump aspect to the game in the first round. And you're going to be playing these sets of tricks. So on your turn, basically, someone's going to lead a card. If you have red, then you have to play red. So the lead suit there. And so, let's see here. If I have, just kind of give an example here. So if I have red, I have to play red, play that. If you don't have red, you can play any other color. And whoever has the highest in the lead suit color would then normally take that trick, and they were going to put them face down in front of them in a pile. And then that person gets to decide, what card is going to be played next. And then the other people play their cards. And again, whoever had the highest takes that and leads again as well. Now, the interesting thing in this game and how you acquire points. You don't just simply want to win at all the tricks, get the most tricks as you can. What you're trying to do and trying to accomplish is you're trying to allow your opponents or force your opponents to take some tricks, because that's how you're going to get your points. So at the round ends usually when a player wins a certain number of tricks, and that's going to be dependent, if we open up the rule book here, dependent on the number of players. So in a 2-player game, it's going to be whoever has won 6 tricks is going to go out. And 3 players, it's 4, etc., etc. And the round ends when there's only 1 player remaining who has not gone out. But you're going to score points. In this example here, for player A, they are in a 4-player game, right? So the number of tricks is 3. So player A has gone out. The number of points that you're going to get is equivalent to the number of tricks all the other players have in front of them when you go out. So in this case, they're going to score 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there is kind of this push your luck type element and play on the experiment. So for those unfamiliar, there was an experiment, Marshmallow experiment, done, fairly well-known study, the Stanford Marshmallow experiment series in the late 1960s, early 1970s. And basically, they were offering children a choice between receiving 1 marshmallow immediately or 2 marshmallows if they waited a little while longer. And so it plays on that aspect because, if you go and you get all of your sets really early, you may not get as many points. But if you wait too long, maybe other people are going to go out before you. So it's pretty interesting. Now, the round ends when there's only 1 player remaining. So after player A goes out, well, these other players still have opportunity to get points. And not only that, but player A has 3. So when they get 3, they're actually going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points if, say, player B were to go out next. So there's kind of this, how long can I wait? Because if you're the second to last person to go out, you're going to be getting the most points out of anyone, likely. So that is the game. It's really, really fun. It's another interesting element in this trick-taking card game is the trump aspect. So like I think it mentioned, the first round, there's no trump. In subsequent rounds, so whoever lost, whoever did not go out, they don't get any points. So everyone else goes out, you're the last person there and you haven't gone out yet, well, you don't get any points at all. You become the new dealer. You're going to gather up all the cards and shuffle them, deal out 12 to each player. And then at that point, you're going to take a look at your hand and determine what you want trump to be. So the person who didn't have any points, it's kind of a nice catch-up mechanism, if you will, where they can then determine and say, okay, trump is going to be, this is a terrible hand, but trump's going to be yellow or whatever. And then they start the round as well, and it goes around. But they declare trump at the beginning of that round. And at that point, if it comes around and I don't have, I don't have any blue cards, I could play trump instead. And whoever has the highest trump, if trump was played, would actually take that trick instead of the lead suit. Usually, I feel like in a lot of other trick-taking card games, however, if someone leads green and this person didn't have green, so they played a trump card. Usually, in a lot of other trick-taking card games, if I actually have a green card from the lead suit, I would still have to play green. In Marshmallow Test, it's kind of unique, I feel, because as soon as someone plays trump and it's my turn, I don't have to follow green anymore. I can play green or I can play trump. So I could actually, even though I have an 8 here, I could play my 11 if I wanted to win that trick. So that's kind of I feel like a little bit unique element to this as far as the Trump element of that goes. But it is a really interesting game because at the very beginning, you're trying to balance that, I want to win tricks, but I don't want to win too many tricks, or else I'm going to go out and not get very many points. And at that point, then other players are going to be getting more points than me based on what, the tricks that I got. So you kind of start out and you're kind of wanting to lose the tricks and or get certain people to win tricks, and then go out at the best time, hopefully second to last if you can. So a really, really fun game. I will comment, so I haven't really played it with the higher player counts because of, COVID. And so, we have kids at home. We did play this with the kids. My kids are younger than 10 years old, what's recommended here. And I feel like that's probably best 10 and older. If they're, 8 or 9, they may start to grasp some of that element of, not wanting to take tricks and then taking them. But I feel like that's a pretty good age recommendation. I think 10 and older is pretty dead on there. But with 2 players, so we played it 2 players a few times, and it's kind of interesting because you don't have that extra element of, this person went out first. Now it's between these other 2 people. With just the 2 of you, it's still fun. I still think it's a great 2-player game, but it is interesting because it feels like it just swings back and forth because at least the power, right? Because if one person gets, 5 in a 2-player game, you go to 6 tricks. So you're trying to make sure that your opponent gets hopefully 5, and then you get the 6th one, and so you maximize your points in that round. But if as soon as your opponent goes out, you get 0 points, they get 5 points or 3 points, whatever it was that you had in front of you when they went out. And so then it's your turn. And so the person with only 2 people, the person who declares Trump has, I feel like, more power, which again, it's that catch-up mechanism, right? Because you just went out with 0 points each time. So I feel like that is important, but there is kind of that element of it feels like when you're playing with 2 players, when you've declared Trump, you feel a little more in control of the game usually. It's not going to say every hand's going to feel that way, but the majority of them are going to feel like the person who declared Trump is kind of in control of that, and it's just a matter of how many points are they going to get. Are they going to get 5, or are they going to go out a little bit earlier and get 4, 3, 2 points, whatever it is. But so it can be a little bit kind of swingy feeling a little bit that way, but in general, I think it's really interesting, even as a 2-player, of trying to determine what cards to play. Do I just go out with 2, my opponent only has 2 points. Do I do that to ensure that I get those 2 points? But if you're only getting 2 points and they're choosing Trump next round, so it really, I think, kind of pushes in a 2-player game, pushes you to try to push your luck there and get your opponent to 5. And so there's kind of that push your luck element to the game as well. Anyway, that is Marshmallow Test. Really enjoy that. I like trick-taking card games a lot. And so this follows, that general type formula with a little bit of change with Trump. When someone plays Trump, you can play Trump even if you had the lead suit. But quality components is great. And I really like the look of the cards, and the little marshmallow counters is fun as well. We also talked about, we have not done it yet, but it could be really fun. I see some fun variants that you could do with this game of like Marshmallow test, trick-taking card game with like Chubby Bunny or something like that, where the person who loses has to put a marshmallow in their mouth, and if it gets to the point where they can't put a marshmallow in their mouth, they lose the game automatically. Or if you win, if you're the first one to go out, maybe you have to, put the marshmallow in your mouth, and you get to the point where you can't say Chubby Bunny or something, then you're out. Or anyway, there's kind of some interesting, fun variants I think you could play with Marshmallow test with that. So maybe look forward to trying some of those out, and hopefully playing this with a larger player count as well, because I think this would be very interesting with more players as well. But that is Marshmallow Test from Gamewright, and I think it's fantastic, and that is how Lou sees it.